At the start of a new week,
Yeah.
and it's Boston has entered the chat. I'm George Balekji. He's
Yes.
Travis Thomas in PNC Bank Studio. New episode of the chat for you guys right here.
Would have been nice for a Victory Monday, George.
What are
wouldn't
we
it?
calling them?
Well,
Clarity Mondays?
It was Clarity Monday a couple
It's clear.
Mondays ago.
No, it's clear.
There's
It's clear.
clarities.
Yes, there is.
It's done.
It is clear.
This is
There's
sad
Drake
Monday.
May.
Yeah.
There's Christian
Yeah.
Gonzalez.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else.
You're right.
It's clear.
I was going to say Rock Bottom Monday. It's kind of how it feels to me. Like,
I don't know if this is rock bottom.
George, how is it not? You had a whole week.
2
weeks.
You had a bye week.
Lick your wounds.
13 days, 2
Come
weeks.
up with some, new wrinkles in the game plan. Have everything buttoned up, ready to go.
Yeah.
And this is. I mean, let's not act like the Cardinals or the Buffalo Bills here.
They're not.
What was that?
It's not. I don't even want new wrinkles. What has excited us the most? Sound, competent,
Yeah.
disciplined,
Yeah.
smart football.
Right.
Never got that.
Nothing.
After 2 weeks off.
None of the things you named.
Offense couldn't net more than 100 yards in the first half. Finished 0 for 6 on third down in the game. 4 of 6 of those third and longs, which shows how behind the sticks you get. With an offense that, let me tell you this, before this season, in training camp, watching this team in the summer, I could have told you the best thing this team can do for themselves is stay on schedule.
Yes.
Don't get behind.
Yeah.
It's all they've done.
That's
And they're 3-11. Top 3 pick. Travis Hunter wants Heisman.
bro. All 3 phases. Special teams, defense, offense.
Yeah.
Trash.
Yeah.
Coming off 2 weeks.
Good onside kick. No one was there to recover
No one was
it.
there. No one was home,
It was like
George.
perfectly executed. There's no one there. If Travis Hunter can take himself as a receiver and clone himself and as a corner, but you get both at the 3rd overall pick, Patriots would.
Can you clone him more times and make him play offensive line too? Is that a thing?
Too skinny.
I mean, if you
But he's
could clone
athletic
him,
enough to get in the way and smart enough to know what he's doing.
so better.
Which you don't get.
So an upgrade.
Yeah.
Great.
Even at like 180 pounds.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah.
I'll take a whole team of them at this point. Drake May, Christian Gonzalez, and a bunch of Travis Hunters. Sign me up.
What is this saying? Like if you gave me a bus full of Drake
Yeah.
Mays and Travis Hunters and Christian Gonzalez's,
Yes.
yeah, I would love that.
Me too.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be Rock Bottom Monday like it is right now.
But who's driving the bus?
Not Jerod Mayo.
What about the Crafts?
I don't want him anywhere near that
Yeah,
bus.
well-
They can sponsor the bus, but I don't want him on it.
That's the issue.
Well, is it?
They're
I don't
they're
think it's the
building the bus,
sponsoring. I think
and
now,
they're driving it.
Yeah, they're doing everything with the damn bus. You know what I mean? That's a problem. For years, they just sponsored. Now, all of a sudden,
They're doing everything.
can't have it.
And they're overthinking it.
I don't want it.
They gave you get your driver's permit, and then you get your license, right? Like 16 permit, 17
Yes.
license, and for me it was a 2010 Toyota Corolla, little go-kart, whipping that around. Imagine going to a 15-year-old that's never driven a car before. Go, you see that bus? Take it.
Oh,
It's yours, baby.
man.
Go drive through Boston.
Yeah, that's what it feels
You're
like.
going
with
down
this.
one ways in Charlestown
Yes.
that aren't even wide enough for a Corolla.
Facts.
Go do it.
That's what it feels like. Watching this. Bro, I don't know why. I don't know what I was thinking. Why did I have expectations coming off a bye week? Why? It was my fault. But here I am, burned, hurt, traumatized, confused.
How about venting Mondays?
There you go.
Because that's what we just did.
You're right. I actually do feel better. That was therapeutic.
You guys want to vent to us? The chat at Nesson.com. Or use the hashtag NessonChat.
Yeah.
We'll call them Ventilation Mondays.
Ooh.
Air everything out. Clear the air. Get everything in new.
Yeah.
Get it off your chest. You feel better? I feel a little better.
Yeah.
I feel a little better.
I do too.
Because it's the validation that I'm not
Yeah.
insane on what I'm watching every Sunday.
Yeah.
So, you want to join Venting Mondays? Hashtag NessonChat and tweet at us and
Come on.
Nesson. Or email thechat at Nesson.com.
Yeah.
And vent with us. That's what we'll do this next episode. We'll go through what's trending, like Travis Hunter winning Heisman and what that means for Aston Ginty. Nick Chubb broke his foot.
Terrible.
Fortunate for him.
Terrible
man.
news.
Patrick Mahomes could be week to week with a right ankle injury. We'll talk about the Patriots Cardinals game in depth. We'll give out game balls as always, and we'll take a look at a little Monday night doubleheader. Bears, Vikings, Falcons, Raiders. We got all that and more right here on chat. Let's start out with what's trending. You guys know the drill. 3-minute timer. You see it on your screen. If you're listening and you're driving, get ready for that buzzer. That'll hit after 3 minutes.
So aggressive.
If we love you, we'll beat the buzzer, and there won't need to be a buzzer needed. But let's start with it Colorado's Travis Hunter wins the 2024 Heisman Trophy. Travis Hunter won 7 overall awards, including the nation's best wide receiver, the nation's best defensive player, won AP Offensive Player of the Year and AP Defensive Player of the Year, and beat Ashton Ginty, who's going to have the greatest season ever for a running back in NCAA football. But Travis Hunter, one of the best receivers in the country, arguably the best corner in the country. The snap workload he was doing, one of the reasons Colorado has had so much success again was healthy, playing like 140 snaps a game. Rightfully so, he gets the Heisman.
Yeah, Ashton Ginty was tight about this, too. You see the tweet here.
I mean, he's the reason Boise's in the college football playoff. He's the reason they won the Mountain West. And he's having the greatest season ever for a running back. And I don't want to overshadow that. He's having the greatest season ever for a running back. Travis Hunter is having one of the greatest seasons ever for a college player.
That's right. I agree. I think in any other year, Ginty should win it. But he ran into a juggernaut. What do you want from the guy?
Yeah.
This dude, Travis Hunter, dominated on both sides of the field.
Yeah.
Shutdown corner, absolutely electrifying wide receiver, game breaker, someone I think the Patriots should take and play at that position. I'm more interested in him as a receiver as it pertains to the Patriots. I do understand other franchises could look at him differently. But if he comes to New England, I too want him to play both ways in the NFL. He's not going to be able to do as many snaps, okay? It's the NFL. It just is what it is. It's not realistic. But I would love for him to come to New England, focus in and lock in on being a wide receiver, and then a complimentary piece to Christian Gonzalez at corner, who we'll talk about later, who can absolutely play, and we all know it.
Yeah.
But this was his Heisman, man. Like, I get it. Genty's so good. I love him. I'll talk about him for years to come in this season that I watch. This kid at Boise State's unreal. But Travis Hunter is the best player in college football. The Heisman does go to the best player in college football. It just is what it is. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
You can't dominate on both sides of the ball and not win the Heisman. Say it out loud.
He's like one of the least targeted cornerbacks in all of college football. And he was basically top 5. And it all depends of like how many games. Like guys had conference games, so it pushed your numbers up even more. But at the conclusion of the regular season, was top 5 in every major receiving category, including having over 90 catches at the end of the regular season. You know how insane that is?
It's crazy.
He was playing 100 snaps a game.
Yeah.
It's not just the endurance to do that, but it's the fact that he was elite on both sides of the ball.
Exactly.
Travis Hunter had one of the greatest seasons ever in college football.
Ever.
Ashton Ginty could have the greatest running back season
That's
ever.
right.
But Travis Hunter, he's having a phenomenal year for a receiver and for a corner.
Yeah.
He did it in the same year.
If Ginty was doing what he's doing and playing linebacker, you'd have a case. But he's not. It's that simple.
And if Colorado didn't lose to Kansas and they were in the college football playoff.
That's right.
What's the argument you can make at that point? Because him and Shedeur Sanders, hand in hand, are the reason for that success.
That's right.
Congrats to Travis Hunter. He was having catch, though, with...
I saw...
Shedeur was having catch with Malik
Neighbors out on the streets of New York City.
Travis Hunter getting tight with Cam Ward, but that won't matter.
No, it won't matter. Travis Hunter, if I'm him,
Drake.
I'm starting to eat lobster rolls, clam chowder.
He's a country guy.
Just to get...
He likes fishing.
Well, there you go.
Take him up to Maine.
Hey, cod, right? Come on, Travis. Come on, baby.
All right, Nick Chubb, running back for the Browns, unfortunately suffered a broken foot against the Chiefs. That will end his season. And what's tough is that this is him coming off where he tore up his entire knee week 2 of last season. Missed the first 6 games of this season. He's going to be 29 next year. It's just tough, man. He had a major knee injury in college. He had a major knee injury last season. One of the best running backs in football, and just a tough break coming back from one injury and then going down with a broken foot.
Yeah, I mean, this dude, unfortunately, this is sort of the shelf life, I guess, if you will, of an NFL running back.
Yeah.
This is how it goes. And there's ups and there's downs. And when you're hot, but it's for a small window, which is why these guys try to get their money. Good on them. And I think for Nick Chubb, it is effectively over as far as him being an every down workhorse back in this league, particularly with the Browns. He's on a contract year now. If I'm the Browns, who have to figure out how to eat a gazillion dollars with Deshaun Watson and get him off the books, they're not going to be able to bring Nick Chubb back for the price that Nick Chubb wants and for the productivity that you're not getting at this point from him. I'll be honest. If I'm friends with Nick Chubb or I'm in his camp at all, I would say go to one of those hardball boys. Probably Jim, because both of those guys believe in running the ball by committee. Baltimore's changed a bit with Derrick Henry, obviously, but I think Nick Chubb at this point can be a very high-end back within a running back by committee type system. I do not believe that he will be an every down workhorse back like we've seen in his past.
He didn't look right this season.
No.
There was a major knee injury again.
That's right.
People question if he could even return at all this season. Maybe a second off season back, he'd get back up to speed. We've seen guys have really bad injuries. It takes 2 seasons for them to be their old form. If he goes to the Chargers, man, behind Joe Alt,
smart,
and Rashawn Slater, and that run first offense, and it's just a running back by committee.
Fantastic spot for him.
What sucks is I loved this offseason, he was working out at his high school gym down in Georgia. Mm-hmm. And in the country of Georgia, nothing fancy, no Exos out in Arizona, no Equinox in LA, nothing like that, no crazy rehab, no one really knowing about it, just squatting a crap ton and get ready back to football. This just sucks. Seems like a good dude. I'm with you, though. It'd be nice to get him away from Cleveland, get him away from dealing with Deshaun Watson's BS, and get him on a winning team. And with a coach. Stefanski's a good coach. Just get him with a franchise that's serious about winning.
Yeah. And committee. I think the key for him.
Yeah, the workload has to make sense. The situation has to make sense.
I think him being a bell cow took its toll. And I think this happens to some guys. Not everyone's Derrick Henry, who's a freak of nature, right? He's carried a franchise forever, and now he's on a new one, still doing well. I think with Nick Chubb, it caught up to him, putting the Browns on his back for as long as he has, and now he needs to go somewhere where he can share carries with younger guys, and I think it can prolong his career. If he's a workhorse, it's not going to work.
Speaking of injuries, Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, he's considered week to week with a right ankle injury. That's come from Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network. See the tweet right there. Patrick Mahomes, who left the game early with a right ankle injury, is considered week to week. Sources say based on the preliminary diagnosis, x-rays were negative. More tests and info coming on Monday.
Hogwash.
Week to week, man.
Hogwash.
Week to week.
This is BS.
I mean, we literally witnessed him snap his knee back into place and go on a crazy playoff run.
Yeah, he's fine.
But week to week, look. Carson Wentz is a backup, and we've seen Chiefs teams with a backup quarterback win games. We have. Versus Texans, at Pittsburgh, at the Broncos. This offense was not right as is. Mahomes week to week, he misses one of those games, Travis. The bigger question is, with the Bills just beating the Lions,
right?
That could cost the Chiefs a 1 seed.
No.
Yes.
That's why he's not going to miss any games. First of all, this Texans game that you glossed over is a Peacock game in prime time. Well, Saturday prime time is in 1 p.m. in the afternoon, but it's the NFL, so you know how that works.
In the middle of the college football playoffs.
Right, exactly. And then the Pittsburgh game that you talked about, that's a Christmas Day game. I mean, he's not going to miss any games, okay? You got Peacock and Netflix on the docket, and then that game against the Broncos could mess around and be a playoff preview. Who the hell knows? So he's not going to miss any games. This is what happens with Patrick Mahomes, ready? It happens all the time, like clockwork. He gets hurt. Everyone holds their breath like, he comes back in the game, and he dices you. Slices and dices you. And this will be the case. Now, for a week, maybe 2, maybe you lose a little Mahomes magic. Maybe he's not scrambling and buying time and having big runs like he does in the biggest moments. You may miss that for a couple weeks. He may be reduced to a stand in the pocket and throw it guy. But even so, what's that? Let's call that a 65, 70, 60% Mahomes. It's still better than 100% of quarterbacks. So the Chiefs will be just fine. He's going to play. They'll tape that thing up, and he may not be as, elusive as normal. But by the time the playoffs run around, and now more than ever, George, you talk about that 1 seed. Boy, are they going for it now, because he's going to need that rest. I think by the time, assuming they get the 1 seed, by the time you see the Chiefs in the playoffs, he'll be 100%, and then it's problems for everyone.
My worry is that this offensive line for the Chiefs is awful.
It is.
And Mahomes and his athletic ability is what helps him out a ton.
Yes.
Bad offensive line, bad ankle. I get we've seen it before, but the week to week, not the day to day, the week to week is what scares me because that means it's something that'll hamper his movement. And as bad as the offensive line is, and you're facing D-lines like the Texans, like the Steelers, we'll see what happens with TJ Watt.
Yep.
And the Broncos, 3 really good defenses, good man corners, and D-lines and front sevens that can dominate the line of scrimmage. It's really those last two games in Pittsburgh,
Yes,
in Denver.
I agree.
Meanwhile, the Bills have the Bears, the Niners, and the Vikings. They could go 2-1. Chiefs go 1-2. And the Bills beat the Chiefs head-to-head.
Bills could win out.
Bills easily could win out.
They could win
that
out.
Vikings game at the end, but if the Vikings have a playoff spot or
Right.
not, we'll see.
They could
And
win
who's
out.
resting what? Do I have the Bills schedule right? Because the Patriots aren't on that. I might have looked up the Lions schedule. I had to. Bears, Vikings.
This is what's a Bills schedule? Oh, you got to look it up. Who are
I
you
caught
looking
myself.
at?
I definitely put in the Lions schedule. Hey, at least I caught myself live. Someone's driving like this.
Well,
idiot.
I mean, look, the Bills playing the Patriots.
Yeah, I'm an
for
idiot because
them
the Bills
is
have
a
the
bye
Patriots
week.
next. Bills have Patriots, Jets, Patriots.
Oh,
Bills are going to win
They're winning
out.
out. Yeah, Mahomes is going to play, bro. They can't afford to sit him.
Yeah, my dumbass put the Lions schedule in there. All right, I'm
Yeah.
happy I caught myself live.
You can. Mahomes isn't missing time. You can't.
Peek behind the curtain between listening to Jerod Mayo's pressers where he just makes excuses and trying to organize notes. That's why I flipped two schedules. So apologies, guys.
He does make excuses.
But let me own it. I'm an idiot. And I corrected myself in real time, at least.
You didn't make an excuse there. You did the opposite.
I just owned it. I'm a moron.
Of Gerard Mayo.
Yeah.
You
oh,
owned
yeah,
it.
yeah. I owned
Mayo?
it.
What would Mayo? Who would he have blamed with just what happened?
Someone gave me
Technology?
the wrong piece of paper.
The Wi-Fi.
Yeah, exactly. My Wi-Fi cut out, but, the Bills, they beat those teams anyway. It says a lot about the Bills that they'd win out in that schedule. Hey, want to be part of the conversation? Tweet at us using the hashtag NessenChat or email the chat at Nessen.com to join the chat. Boston has entered the chat. Is available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and wherever else your podcasts are found. All right, man.
Oh, do we have
Let's get to it. More venting.
Man.
Patriots lose to the Cardinals 30-17.
Bruh.
It was 23-3. Patriots didn't have more than 100 yards of offense at half.
Ugh.
The Cardinals were having their way. Bad turnovers, bad execution of football, offensive line absolutely killing drives like a Layden Robinson holding, Vidarian Lowe missing blocks on back-to-back plays and ruining drives as well. Ben Brown can't get a shotgun snap off twice, the second one costing them on third down. This should have been 30-3 the final, but Drake made magic at the end because, again, Drake May covers up for the deficiencies of this coaching staff and the deficiencies of this roster. Christian Gonzalez did a good job covering Marvin Harrison Jr. because there could have been 2 touchdown receptions by MHJ, but Christian Gonzalez did well. Look, all in all, this Patriots team is the same. As you said to open, coming off a bye, you had 13 days to prepare. They came out absolutely flat, absolutely lost, and making the same day one mistakes we've seen every game of the season.
That's right.
And that's a reflection of coaching.
That's a reflection of coaching.
Why are you not ready?
Yeah, you gotta show some improvements. They've lost 4 in a row. Okay, out of the losses, just the 4 in a row I'm talking about. This was by far the worst one. You lose to a Rams team where the coaching staff failed to make adjustments. You're going against McVay and his staff, who you could argue is, if not the best, one of the best in football. Okay, so you get outcoached in that loss. Then you lose to a Miami team that just felt like more talented. Tua, Cheetah, Waddle, you couldn't stop any of them. But we'll call that one, you were outclassed by the Dolphins. Then you're in a Colts game. Shoulda, woulda, coulda won that one, right? You lose that one. Some questionable coaching decisions in that one as well. But at least in that game, you're standing toe-to-toe in the center of the ring, exchanging punches. And then this Arizona game is the worst because you're coming off 2 weeks to prepare. Coming off a bye week, you're going on the road, where on the road in general, you need to be more buttoned up than normal. Mm-hmm. You can't have dumb penalties. You can't turn the ball over. You just got to be on point. You have all this time to prepare for this team. And unlike the Rams, unlike the Dolphins, unlike some of these teams who you lost to throughout the season, Texans comes to mind, these teams are playoff teams. The Cardinals are not. I'm not saying they're bad. They're fighting for a wild card. Who knows? But the Cardinals are not on the same level as some of these other teams you've lost to throughout the season.
Yeah.
And you're coming off the bye. You go on the road into their house, and this is what you give us? I mean, all 3 phases sucked. Offense, defense, special teams. You heard what George said. He's right. Flat, no energy. Man, this is the most damning game in the Jerod Mayo era simply because of most decent coaches, most above average coaches can give you a little something coming off a bye week. Most of your better than average coaches would kill for more time to prepare. And he got that. And this is what we got as fans. Disgusting. This was George will tell you. I mean, I was in the pits. I was down and out in this game. This game sucked. And I said it over and over again. This is embarrassing. This is the most damning game in the Jerod Mayo era, and the Crafts have to be paying attention here. They kept showing them in the suite, taking notes, shaking their head. I don't know what the hell your notes said.
Cussing to each other.
I mean, I hope on that notes page you had a list of coaches, because, I mean, there just needs to be some ownership here from ownership. We made a mistake. Jerod was in over his head. We got to move on. This isn't going to work. They are going to lose to Buffalo twice, and they're going to lose to the Chargers. That'll be 7 straight losses to end the season. What the hell are we doing? What are we doing? You're going to retain that? You can't do it.
You know what I would like the Crafts to do? Because the opening touchdown of the game, you remember who scored it? Be a nice little trivia, let's say. Jonah Williams, the right tackle for the Cardinals. Why is that significant? Jonah Williams, Jerod Mayo called out a big run that if you take it away, it skews the numbers. Jonah Williams pulling from the right tackle spot, opened up that run play. And James Conner went 50 yards. Fumble into the end zone. Okay. Jonah Williams recovers it.
Yeah.
Jonah Williams was a free agent this season.
That's right.
Who was a starting caliber left tackle or right tackle. Yeah. You could say he's better at right tackle. Guess what team needs both a left tackle and a right tackle?
You were saying to sign him in the offseason.
He signed 2 years, $21.5 million deal.
Yep.
Guaranteed $21.5, up to $30.
Yep.
With how bad this offensive line is, and there's no answer in sight next offseason too, because it's a weak tackle draft, the Crafts better look and just go back through and look at the roster the Cardinals have and go, hey, Elliot, why did you give us Chuks Okorafor instead of a Jonah Williams? When you drafted Caden Wallace, you set him as a left tackle. Why not just right tackle? Now, Elliot Wolf better go back to the Crafts and go, you know that $25 million in cap space you carried over? What was Bill's remaining buyout on his $20 million? That's right. Okay, so you wanted to cover the guy you fired's contract by going against the cap and giving us this crap team. You said it, man. It's just disappointment. You're watching it, and it's just we knew it. We knew it. We were like, this is going to be a long afternoon, and that's what it was.
Yeah.
And you point to the Patriots, once again, are just a get-right game. Think about their losses. The Seahawks, who are 8-5 right now. Fine, that's a playoff caliber team.
Sure.
The Jets, 4-10.
Yep.
The 49ers, 6-8. The Dolphins, 6-8. Texans, 9-5, playoff team. Fine. Jaguars and Titans, both 3-11. The Rams, 8-6. Dolphins loss again. Colts loss. Cardinals loss. When they lost to the Dolphins, at that point, Miami had lost 3 straight, didn't have Tua. Get right game. Yep. When they lost to the Jaguars, they lost 5 of 6 before beating the Patriots in London. When they lost to the Titans, they lost 6 of 7 before beating the Patriots. When they lost to the Colts, they lost 4 of 5 heading into that game. Only win for them was against the Jets. So they're really good at beating really bad teams.
Yeah.
Cardinals lost 3 straight heading into Sunday. But they beat the Patriots, and the worst part is it wasn't even close.
No.
This team's pathetic.
It really is.
The whole structure. And look, Drake May's fantastic. Christian Gonzalez is fantastic. There's good pieces in certain spots. So it's not the whole roster. But to your point, the Crafts bitching to each other, bitching down on the field, saying the terrible play calling, watching the conservative play. Like, what are we doing here? This is 3 years in a row of watching this style of football. That is just like awful. Just rock bottom in the league. They have to look at the front office, and they have to look at the structure of the coaching staff, and they have to look in the mirror for answers.
You know, look, you brought up Drake May and Christian Gonzalez. Those were the only 2 doing anything. And I said this to you during the game, and I know everyone in the room laughed, but I was dead serious. Outside of Drake May and Christian Gonzalez, I don't give a damn about any, and I mean any, of these players. 0. Any of them. Christian Gonzalez and Drake May, ironically, in a game where we thought the whole team would look better, coming off a bye, going against a slightly above average, and that's being nice, Cardinals team, because they're 500, right? I mean, they're average, but you are what your record is. Coming off of a bye, going against an average Cardinals team, the only 2 players who played well and who showed fight and showed I don't give a damn what the score is. I'm going to give you everything I got on this afternoon in the desert was Drake Maye offensively and Christian Gonzalez defense. Everyone else sucked, including the coaching staff. Someone needs to be held accountable. And, I'm maybe it's sort of looking at this thing with rainbows and all that, but I'm thinking Robert Kraft and Jonathan Kraft are going to have the accountability conversation amongst each other and say, we made a mistake with this hire. We've got to go out and we've got to make it right with a Mike Vrabel, or we have to throw the bag at another rookie head coach and a Ben Johnson. Something has to give. But one thing I know, this was likely the last winnable game on your G-damn schedule, and you blew it. So you know what's going to happen to you next week. We don't even need to talk about that. Have you been watching Josh Allen? Okay, so he's going to destroy you. You're not beating Harbaugh and the Chargers trying to get in the playoffs. And then I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that the Bills are going to be vying for a 1 seed that last week of the season. So their starters are going to play. You're done. So you end the season with 7 straight losses, and then you feel good about bringing back Jerod Mayo? Really? In what universe? The Crafts not only need to hold this coaching staff accountable and GM, but they need to hold themselves accountable for making those decisions.
At Buffalo versus Chargers versus Buffalo.
You're losing.
It's going to be. And you argued wins and losses, which I understand. And I said it doesn't matter wins or losses.
Right.
It's what you're seeing on the field.
That's right.
And if I'm an owner of an NFL team, what I'm seeing on the field is not even close to good enough.
That's right.
For me to sit down and hear you out, it's been terrible football.
Yeah.
And what the Patriots are on the brink of, losing we talked about it, losing 7 straight. And man, I don't care. Also, the 2 losses you had, the Jets, who let you back into the game every which way, and nice, you found a way to steal a game you shouldn't. And then a 19-3 win against the Bears, who clearly are one of the worst teams in the NFL. What do the wins have to show me? When you're playing bad teams or even just serviceable teams, you're losing. Again, their losses: 4-10, 6-8, 6-8, 3-11, 3-11, 6-8, 6-8, 7-7. Those are the teams they're losing to. Fine, an 8-5 Seahawks team, a 9-5 Texans team, 8-6 Rams team. Guess what? You weren't even competitive with those teams. You weren't even close. Seahawks went to overtime, fine. But you lost that game.
Yeah.
You're losing to the Titans, man. You're losing to Mason Rudolph. You're losing to the Jaguars. You're losing to Snoop Huntley. You're losing to Anthony Richardson, letting him run 19-play drives. This Cardinals defense is middle of the pack at best. I'd say bottom 12, bottom 10. And after 2 weeks to prepare, you can't break 100 yards of offense in the first half. With 2 weeks to prepare, your defense can't tackle in the open field. With 2 weeks to prepare, your offensive line can't execute and continues to kill drives. And with 2 weeks to prepare, the only guys that showed up were Drake Maye and Christian Gonzalez. Same old song and dance.
Don't forget special teams, blunders, missed field goals.
It's bad,
it's a mess. And here's the other thing, too, we've talked about. And I'm glad you brought that up. Wins and losses, you can't hold them to that because we knew this was a rebuilding year.
Who are you losing to, though?
Okay, fair. But then what George said, how you play. I mean, both is a losing argument. If it's not wins and losses and it's stylistically and are you improving, the answer is no. And then if it is wins and losses and you were expecting more wins, even though we all knew this would be a rebuild, then obviously that's an L as well. So I've been saying this from the beginning. One of my biggest issues with Jerod Mayo is there's no identity. There's no calling card.
Yeah.
This is yet another example of that. Coming off buys, and we've talked about this, good coaches or slightly above average coaches show you something, a new wrinkle. Well, hey, we improved on this, we improved on that. And you could see that coming out of a bye week. And then it plays out from there.
Yeah.
I mean, this team regressed. This is worse. This is terrible. They looked better before the bye than they did against the Cardinals. I've said that with Jerod Mayo. What do you give me? Your defense is not good, and you're a defensive-minded head coach. You have no identity offensively. It's Drake Maye, who's a rookie. Hey, go save us, kid. That's not an identity. No one's physical. You're not a tough out. You're not bloody in noses. There's no identity here. You're still getting dumbass penalties. There's turnovers. What do you bring to me, Jerod Mayo? And right now, it's a bunch of stress. That's it.
Robert Kraft's going to clean house in the front office.
Is he?
Yeah. Elliot Wolf's got to be gone. I mean, this roster is just absolutely pathetic.
I think they all need to be gone, though.
Yes, but he's not going to do that.
That's a mistake.
You attached yourself to this guy 5 years ago, and
That's
you
a mistake.
opened your mouth and you had to lie.
Well, that's why I said he needs to hold himself accountable for that.
Hey, man, that new facility is going to be nice, right? The Patriots are building. I hope there's a lot of damn mirrors in that building. So the Krafts got to continually look at themselves. They walk through every hall, every room, and look in every...
No doubt.
Man, I want to say it a four-letter word.
I know. This team will make you cuss, bro.
Every effing mirror. If you're enjoying football talk, catch Foxborough Rush every Monday for game reactions, Wednesday for draft talk, and Fridays maybe joined by UNC's new GM, Michael Lombardi. I won't rule it out yet.
I would.
Available on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever else you get your podcasts. And if you're on Neston's YouTube page, hit the subscribe button as well. All right, we talked a lot about the bad. Let's talk about the good.
What good?
Offensive game ball. Who gets it for you?
Oh, God. Well, it's Drake Maye.
Why?
Because, man,
Why?
I think I'm about to start making shirts that say "Free Drake Maye."
Free Drake. You got to put May on there, though.
You have to put May on there.
Yeah.
Like he kept fighting.
Yeah.
He kept getting up because he was getting destroyed. Offensive line, no time. There was one sack I remember. He dropped back. I don't remember what point in the game it was, but he dropped back, and before he could set his feet, he got sacked. Like literally, he dropped back, he gets in his stand, he gets hit. And I'm like, damn, bro couldn't even set his feet first. He's getting clobbered all game. He's just getting up, throwing dimes, running, doing what he could, leading. Dude's tough. I mean, what else do you want? He's tough as nails. He's got a rocket launcher arm. He can run. He's got an aura. He's got swag. Guys believe in him. He's a leader. I mean, the dude has everything. And I just have zero faith, in the brain trust that surrounds him. I have zero trust in them to actually build around him and to keep him upright. I zero. I want a whole new regime in here who has a clue, who recognizes what he has, that the same thing we all see, and can build around him and prolong his career and get him wins and use those attributes that we love in him to the franchise's advantage and make him the next great Patriots quarterback, which he should be. But my fear is that the current regime is going to instead have his story ending like a Mac Jones's did when he never had the right support.
Drake Maye has two paths for his career.
Yes.
It's Justin Herbert, talented from day one, really good starter, has all the tools, just need to get him the right coaching to find success.
Yes.
Or it's Matt Stafford, again, has all the tools, carries a franchise. I know Stafford had Calvin Johnson and Ndamukong Suh, but it's Matt Stafford we're talking about.
Sure.
He was a top 20 quarterback. Has all that, and he will make another franchise very successful. It's all about what the Patriots want him to become, and the sooner they grab hold of figuring out the front office leader and the coaching staff around him and the structure, he can become a Justin Herbert. Because if not, and they try to stick and not want to swallow their ego and admit they're wrong, he'll be a Matt Stafford. Drake Maye gets my offensive player of the game ball as well. I mean, the two touchdowns were spectacular. One, scrambling out to his left, IDs a spy, keeps extending the play just enough, and shovels it out, I think, to Pop Douglas for the touchdown, who just drives off the safety. Then on the scramble, just rolls out right, sees a linebacker's back plate, sees no spy, knows I'm running this in. And you know what he did after he ran it in? Gave the ball to the ref and just went on his way right to the sideline.
No celebration,
We're getting our asses
BS.
kicked.
Yep.
We're not winning. I'm not celebrating.
That's
we
right.
scored. Let's get the F to the bench.
That's right.
Let's figure this stuff out.
Leadership.
Professional.
Yep, absolutely.
And a leader. Defensive player of the game for you.
Christian Gonzalez, every week. I mean, this guy's unbelievable. And again, it's the same things I saw from Drake Maye I saw in Christian Gonzalez. Just all fight. All fight.
Yeah.
All gas, no brakes. I don't care. The score sucks. His team sucks. Doesn't matter. I'm out here to play until that final whistle blows. And I appreciated that about him. And you could see that in him. He's breaking up touchdown passes. He's making tackles. He's doing everything. everything asked of him and more, Christian Gonzalez shows up. I'm willing to tell you, right now he looks like one of the best young corners in the game. I think by next season, this guy's shut down city. It's just shut down. It's more of the reason why I want Travis Hunter here too, because those two together could be filthy. But I think Christian Gonzalez now is at the level he's proven this season. We already knew he could play in a small sample size in his rookie year. This season, he's proven I could stay healthy too. Christian Gonzalez, shutdown corner, starting next season. But this season, he's one of the best in the game.
He's my defensive player of the game too. I mean, he just did a tremendous job following Marvin Harrison Jr., going everywhere with him. The first PBU he had, I mean, perfectly placed ball like Kyler Murray punches it out.
Yep.
Second one, actually like brilliant patience to not draw a flag.
Yep.
Refs let him play too. I think Christian Gonzalez was great. Team MVP, I'll go first because I like to hear yours. My team MVP, Christian Gonzalez and Drake May.
Yeah, split it. Yeah.
Without them,
the only two.
There would have been 2 more touchdowns on the Cardinals side. Like this would have been a 45-3 final.
Absolutely.
45-0.
Yes.
If it was Jacoby Brissett and no Christian Gonzalez, it would be 45-0.
I agree.
Who's your team MVP?
The month of December. Before you question me, think about it. This is almost over, people. Do you know how happy I was last week? We talked about it.
Same.
We talked about it right here on Boston Has Entered the Chat.
It was nice.
Of how nice. Patriots bye week. You're not stressing, cussing at the TV, cussing and fussing. If you're at home, not at work like us, you're not drinking yourself into a drunken stupor because this team upset you so bad. It was a nice Sunday. And then there was this Sunday where my dumbass had optimism. And I thought, you know what? Coming off a bye week against an average Cardinals team, Patriots can get this done. And I should have took this fist filled with hope and punched myself right in the nose, because that's what it felt like watching this stupid team again blow it. Every single stinking time I believe in them, they let me down. And it's always for the same doom-ass things. Dumb turnovers, dumb penalties, dumb. You have a bye week, you come off the bye, and you look like this against an average team, bro. Shame on everyone on that team, coaching staff, front office, ownership, everyone not named Drake or Christian. Screw you. I hope you're not back next season.
Chair almost fell. It's okay.
I'm sick and tired.
Hey, don't let it get
I'm being sick and tired.
Don't let it get you angry. There's nothing you can do about this. You hear me?
Someone have a cigarette. I don't even smoke. I need a Newport.
That's the worst. It's a team that makes you want to smoke
The
cigs.
month of December is the MVP because it's almost over. Thanks for my hug, man.
Got you, bro. This little bump here ruined it. I was waiting
saw
to
that.
roll in.
Hurt people hurt people. I heard that once in therapy. I don't
let
know.
it go off your back. You
Thanks,
know?
man.
Just let it roll. Hey, you know what the best part is, Trav?
It's almost over.
Sleep. No. You go to sleep. You wake up and you come here. You don't have to go into one Patriot place and look people in the eyes and just lie to their face.
Oh, my God.
For the first time in my life, I'd rather be me than a billionaire. I'd rather be me than the Crafts.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's it.
It's got to be tough. I want to see what was on that stupid notepad they were writing on.
Honestly, like if they just wrote like burn them all, like some Game of Thrones, like fire them all, everyone in New England would be like, I respect the hell out of you, Jonathan. I couldn't agree more. All right, man, let's talk Monday Night Football. I got bad news. It's not going to get any better Monday night.
Oh, God.
Doubleheader.
Yay!
Bears at Vikings.
Oh.
Falcons at Raiders.
Wah, wah,
Talk about like 2 just awful matchups all around. Yeah, it can't get worse than this. But that's what we got, man. So let's start with the Bears at the Vikings. Vikings get a playoff berth if they beat Chicago and Seattle loses to Green Bay, or there's a tie in that game.
Got it.
So I think Green Bay beats Seattle, so I don't think the Vikings get that playoff spot yet. I mean, what did we talk about with this game? Vikings are having a white out. And as of the recording, the Seattle-Green Bay game is a final. So
That's right.
Are you going to watch these games? Let me start there.
Yeah, I
It'll be
always
on,
do.
Background noise.
I kind of complain sometimes with the games we get for the doubleheaders on Monday night. Like, in other words, I love bonus football. Like, I'm not going to complain that it's 2 games on. I know some people don't really like that. And I never understood that. Like, what do you mean? Oh, I don't like the Monday night games where they do 2 games. Like, why wouldn't you? It's more football. Mm-hmm. The issue I have isn't that. It's just the games suck. Like, I mean, Bears-Vikings is much better than the other one, but I don't know. Look, I gave up on the Bears a long time ago this season. Coming in, I thought they were going to be a damn wild card team, and I knew that wasn't the right coach for them, so I don't know what I was thinking. But, on one hand, where I've given up on the Bears, on the other hand, I stopped betting against the Vikings about midway through the season too, because I kept thinking it was fool's gold and that Sam Darnold would turn back into a pumpkin at midnight, and I thought they were one-trick pony with Justin Jefferson, and now all of a sudden Jordan Addison looks like the second coming. So, look, I'm going to go Vikings here. The Bears typically hang in these games. Caleb typically looks okay. I'm going to go Vikings here in a closer game than people think, but I'll go Vikings. I'll go 31-26 Vikes, get it done. In an exciting, entertaining game, and probably the only one of the doubleheader. As far as being entertaining and a close game.
I listened to that entire thing. I just took the Vikings -6.5, though, as you were talking.
Okay, yeah.
Check out the apps, makes it easy. This Bears team is dead. They're awful. The offensive line's not good. This Vikings defense is one of the most tenacious in the NFL. They get after the quarterback. They don't allow a lot of points at all. They're really good against opposing quarterbacks. They're really good against the run. Like, the Bears aren't going to be able to do anything. And, like, when you have a team that's just in a sure fall, like free fall.
Yeah.
And the most important thing, too, is, like, you spoke with Kurt Warner. You had him on Foxborough Rush. And he said, Caleb Williams is struggling seeing things right now. You need to make it easier for him to see. Brian Flores flourishes with his Viking defense at confusing quarterbacks and what they see.
Sure.
The motions you get at the snap from his defense, what they flip, how they disguise their coverages, how they disguise their blitz packages. And other times where they just line up in a zero blitz and come right at you and you know what's going to happen,
right,
but you don't know what to do. Look, this Vikings defense is way too good. This offense is way too good in too many spots for me to doubt them. It's Minnesota at home. That's going to overwhelm a rookie quarterback in Caleb, who's played in big games. But this Vikings team is just too damn good. I'm taking the Vikings on this one, man.
By the way, they're wearing the all whites in that game.
At home. Interesting. I'm
like
mixed
that?
on them. I like them. I would have liked if they kept the purple helmets but went like white face mask.
Yeah.
And then white like Vikings horn on the side, you know? But with the all-white uniforms. But it looks good, man.
I like when the Bengals do it.
With the black and white.
By the way, I'm looking at a playoff forecast right now. If the playoffs started right this second.
Oh, I love this.
The Vikings would head to Tampa and take on the Bucs. Who would you take in that game?
I would take the Vikings. That's absurd. This Vikings team has 2 losses, and they'll have to be on the road in the playoffs.
They'll be the 5 seed.
That's how good that division is.
Yeah, Lions will be the 1. Philly would be 2. As of now, the recording of this, Seattle would be 3, and then Tampa, because they would win the division, would be the 4th seed.
Hey, full circle moment. Remember when I accidentally brought up the Lions schedule?
Yeah.
What was the final game of the season for the Lions? Vikings.
Oh, is that right?
That could decide the division crown. Lions just lost. They have 2 losses now.
That's right.
The Vikings are 11-2.
Wow. Yep. Oh my God.
Yep.
What if the Vikings win that? What if
just
the Vikings
out of nowhere steal the division?
That'd be crazy.
Philly with this late season push gets the 1 seed. I would still like the Lions to win it all. I still don't hate it, but how a lot of things can change all of a sudden is huge.
Yeah, no kidding. Do you trust this Vikings team in the playoffs is really my question.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I trust Sam Darnold, but I trust everything but the quarterback.
You take them to get a win because you said
to mess
in this
around.
Scenario I just gave you, I would take Tampa for the record, by the way. But you just said you would take the Vikings on the road in Tampa. So you could see them getting a playoff win and then the steam kind of runs out?
Yeah.
Okay.
It all depends on like what the route can be.
Yeah.
But this Vikings team is just a 2-loss team. Detroit's now 12-2. Minnesota's 11-2. So that's why the difference is. And if both teams are 12-2, man, and Lions obviously are 4-0 in the division, and they beat the Vikings, what was it, by 2 points earlier in the year in Minnesota.
That's crazy. That was a game.
That was a game the Vikings should have won too.
By the way, this is what the NFL does by design.
Week 18 mattering. Yeah, 1,000%. Bills might likely have to play all the way throughout.
I would think so.
And Week 18 matters to get the 1 seed in the AFC.
Right.
This is where it comes through.
This is where it comes through.
But that is interesting. Vikings in Tampa, I would take the Vikings. Tampa looked impressive against the Chargers, but I would take the Vikings.
I think being at
the
home,
defense.
I don't know, something about Baker and that chip on his shoulder.
But you get a good quarterback in a warm weather. If it's not raining, they can run the ball.
Right. That defense
is a lot better for Minnesota than it is for Tampa's. Tampa's is banged up.
So you could see him getting a win. And we're both Kevin O'Connell fans.
And then you get into a huge Kevin O'Connell fan. Then you get into a divisional matchup against a 1 seed. Could get dicey.
It could. I don't trust a deep playoff run, but I could see a scenario where the Vikings win a playoff game.
So you say Vikings win, I do same thing.
Yeah,
in the Monday night.
I'll go 31-26. I have the Bears covering, you don't. That's the only difference.
34-13.
Oh,
Vikings.
Beat down.
The Red Sox offseason is heating up and the rumors are starting to swirl. We know you have a lot of questions about the Sox future, and we asked the players, coaches, executives, and alumni those same questions on Nesson's Baseball Podcast, 310 to Left. You can find it on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and wherever else you get your podcasts. Second half of Monday Night Doubleheader.
Oh.
Falcons
Boo.
in Las Vegas taking on the Raiders.
Boo.
Let's start with the reports coming out. It was Peter Schrager.
Yep.
Reported that he's been hearing from players point blank in the Falcons locker room. They want Michael Penix at quarterback. They think he's a better quarterback in the building.
Wow.
But the optics are why they stick with Kirk Cousins. Insane, man.
Well, optics meaning what? Because the optics suck.
You just gave Kirk Cousins all that money and you're
the money.
Giving up on him.
Okay, because I'm like, the optics of what exactly? The performance optics, I can see clearly.
Oh, excuse me. It was Jordan Schultz reporting that. Excuse me. Jordan Schultz.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, they've lost 4 in a row, bro. Like, the optics are not there. Kirk Cousins is awful. But I could see, you gave him all the money in the world. You brought him in to be the savior. Listen, I thought they should have went to Penix for this game. They're not doing it. Okay, fine. No problem. But here's the reality of the situation now. You're playing the Raiders, okay? And I get it's a Monday night stage. If you lose this game, or it's closer than it should be, and Kirk plays like trash, how do you not make you almost have to make the switch, don't you? I mean, the Bucs just won. They're right now ahead of the division. If you barely scrape by an absolutely abysmal Raiders team with nothing to play for.
Max Crosby being shut down for surgery.
I mean, they're tanking. Okay,
quarterback could be Desmond Ridder, Aiden O'Connell. It's just awful.
You need to annihilate this team, and Cousins needs to look good, and it's a get right game. And Cousins gets his confidence back under him, and then you can move forward. But if he goes out and struggles, and you lose, or you're in danger of, even if it's closer than it should be, and you're in danger of losing, you could see Penix in this game. I would not wait a week. I would make the switch in this game if need be. I'm just talking out loud here, but if you get, I don't know, it's halftime and your team's flat and there's no energy and it's tied or you're up 3 or you're down, I mean, I would come out in the second half with Michael Penix. I will say this, after this Raiders game, you're back home against the Giants. You go to Washington in a stadium where those fans don't even show up, and then you're back home against Carolina. Those are 3 winnable games for Michael Penix Jr. 3. Mm-hmm. So not only would I have made the switch before this Raiders game, they didn't. I respect it. But Kirk Cousins would have the shortest leash of all time, and I would put him in position in this game to be successful early. I would come out. Maybe my first 10, 15 plays scripted, I'd probably go no huddle. I'd put it in his hands. I'd put the ball in his hands. I'd have a lot of passing plays that he can audible out of if he wants. But I would put a lot of pressure as a coaching staff, as a Falcons coaching staff on Kirk Cousins in this game to come out and start fast. And if he let me down and he can't get it done by halftime of this game, I'm going to Michael Penix. Yeah. And probably before this game starts, I'm having a conversation this week leading up to this. Be ready, kid, because we don't know. We just don't know.
I mean, with that schedule, how it lays out, you're 2 games behind in your division. for the division title. But also, we could see an AFC team with a losing record against the playoffs. We could. Or just floating right around there, barely getting over like a 9-8 record, right? 8-9, 9-8, we could see. With how these games shake out, it's Vegas, Giants, Washington, Carolina. They could go from losing 4 straight to winning 4 straight.
That's right.
And that finish, the difference in all that can be the world. It can be the difference between them getting into the postseason or not. So, I mean, at 6-7, they have a lot of decisions to make. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just getting a win over the Chargers where they blow them out. I mean, it looks like they are going to get into the playoffs. They're going to finish. But it's how the rest of this conference shakes out. If the Falcons beat the Raiders, they have a 50% chance of making the playoffs. If they lose, it's 20% off.
They should
20% off. 20% chance down. Dude, Vegas has lost 9 straight.
Right. They are lifeless.
There's nothing there.
Nothing there. You got to, not only should you beat this team, you should beat the brakes off of them. But right now, the way the Falcons are playing, that's likely not going to happen. I'll give you a score. I'm going to go 24-10 Falcons. But there's a caveat here. I actually think Bijan Robinson's going to steal the spotlight. I think that young man is so good. Running the ball, catching the ball. I could see him doing everything in the game. And them sort of quite literally simplifying the offense for Kirk Cousins. Hey, look, you got playmakers all over the place. Let's simplify things. Get the ball in these guys' hands. Bijan being one of them. Check down Charlie, Kirk Cousins, and it works. I'll go Bijan being the star of the show. 24-10 Falcons.
I got no feel in this game. I just think it's going to be ugly. And I like that idea of the short lease for Kirk Cousins just because how it lays out. And that's a conversation on both sides. Kirk, you're making all this money. Hey, if you play like crap, we're playing the kid.
That's right.
Because the offense needs to get a boost, and we need to get into the playoffs. That's right. It. You got your guaranteed money. Let's see for next season. Let's see how good your Achilles and your legs are then. This Raiders team is awful. Max Crosby is shut down for the season with the surgery. I just think it's not going to be close, though. I just think it's going to be ugly. I'd just go 21-10. So I'm right on there with you. You say 24-10, I think 21-10.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Ugly, boring, stupid game. That's what it is. And Cousins will get the win, but you're not going to feel good about it as the game's over. Means. You're not going to feel good about moving forward with him.
I like venting Mondays, ventilation Mondays.
We needed it.
Air them out Mondays.
We needed it. I'm going to start calling them Newport Mondays because I need some of that menthol.
All the Patriots make you want to do is walk down to your bodega, get a pack of Newports, light it up and smoke it.
You know you stress when you walk out of the store and light one
and
up.
And already got the cigarette. Yeah. So this Patriots team does, man. They make you want to smoke it in your car with the windows up. Like you said, hurt people, man. They just want you to hate yourself.
Someone's looking at you going, that must be a Patriots fan. Because
where did that guy's day go wrong? He watched the Pats for 3 hours.
Jerod Mayo.
He's Travis Thomas. I'm George Balekji. This is Boston Center, the chat in the PNC Bank studio. We'll see you guys tomorrow with a new episode. Have a good one, everyone.